What's going on, guys? Bart here with Tully Television, and I want to thank all of you for stopping by, commenting, sharing, liking, and all that beautiful YouTube stuff. I hope that today is the day that we can earn your subscription. The march to 500 subscribers continues, and only together can we go straight to the moon, baby. Today, though, we're going to be getting into What If Season 3, which just wrapped up today. It was an 8 episode season and finished up the series as a whole. Now, I'm not going to be doing an episodic review, episode by episode, but I will do a season review here and go through some of the stories that they had and how they wrapped up the whole thing. Now, I believe that the reason why they wanted up wrapping up this series was because they have plans to do an Exiles show in the future. And if you notice, there were some elements of Exiles in this series as a whole, as compared to like how the old What If issues were, where it was one issue standalone story. Here in this series, we had reoccurring characters. We had characters from different universes and realities teaming up and getting together to fight whatever the overall arching villain or story was. That was more of what the Exiles were. We actually got one of our first looks into Blink, the character, and she had led the Exiles, and many different members of the Exiles were there, helping along the missions and stuff. But near some part of this series, it started feeling like the Exiles. So I think they pivoted towards that and wrapped up this series to then concentrate on the Exile series, so to speak. Some of the cast over this season here was, of course, Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher, Allison Seeley Smith as Storm for 2 episodes, the last 2 episodes, Haley Atwell, of course, as Captain Carter, Seth Green and Kat Dennings return as Howard the Duck and Darcy, Natasha Lyonne is Birdie the Duck, and, of course, many other voice actors returned or did, parts in the episodes that came out during this season. Now, the first episode of the season was called What If the Hulk Fought Mech Avengers? And in this particular reality, Bruce and Sam Wilson became friends instead of Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson, and much of the bond that they had we seen with Bruce and Sam. Sam trying to convince him he's not the monster that he perceives himself to be, or that how others perceive him. But Bruce, of course, eventually goes into isolation after he accidentally hulks out. And at some point when he tries to nullify his powers with more gamma radiation, he creates something called the Apex, which is simply all his rage separated from him, and made its own creature, so to speak, eventually leading into a final confrontation between the Apex and the Mech Avengers, and eventually Bruce Banner as the Hulk. The Mech Avengers, of course, think about Voltron, think about Power Rangers, Mobile Suit Gundam. They were able to piece their mech suits together to create a bigger robot to fight, of course, the Apex. And eventually the Hulk came back and basically turned into Hulkzilla and defeated the Apex, absorbing all that energy and becoming the king of the monsters. The next episode that we see is what if Agatha goes to Hollywood, and basically Agatha realizes that there's a celestial being cooked in the center of the planet. So she tries to, instead of stealing her powers from witches, steals her the Eternal's powers to gain power from the emergence that's happening inside of the Earth. She does eventually gain all of that power, but decides not to go full Agatha near the end of the episode, and basically is looking for her and Kingo from the Eternals to make a sequel to the movie they made. Now, this was more of comedic. I guess there was some comedy in here, a bit of lightheartedness. I liked this episode enough, but it was one of my least favorite episodes of the season. The next episode was what if the Red Guardian stopped the Winter Soldier, basically stopping the Winter Soldier from killing Howard Stark, and basically turns into a Red Guardian Winter Soldier road trip buddy type of episode where they're both trying to break away from their programming, so to speak, and their training to become their own people, and want to become heroes, so to speak, all while having, everyone come after them to try to take them down. But eventually, through teamwork, the Red Guardian and the Winter Soldier are able to defeat their enemies, and the Red Guardian becomes Bob Toledo, I believe, a gym teacher in an American high school, and Bucky's just doing his own thing, being the hero of Coney Island, as the Red Guardian would put it. I thought this episode was pretty fun. We got to see, of course, the dynamic between the Red Guardian and Bucky, two completely different type of personalities, and of course, at the end of the day, they wound up becoming friends and working everything out. And this was one of my more favorite episodes of the season. Episode 4 is What If Howard the Duck Got Hitched? This is a continuation from the Party Thor universe where Howard the Duck meets Darcy. He entices her with half-off nachos from a local restaurant, and from that point on, they wind up falling in love, getting married, and eventually having a baby. But when Darcy birthed the baby, it came in an egg form and had to wait to be hatched. But while waiting to be hatched, many groups of people thinking that this egg had held power found Darcy, Howard, and the little egg child, so to speak, run from Dormammu, run from S.H.I.E.L.D., run from Thanos, run from everybody, trying to get this egg so they can gain the power that would come from this egg. And eventually, the egg cracked and birthed their daughter, which we will see in a future episode here in this season. So basically, Howard the Duck and Darcy the Duck, because she took the Duck last name, wound up giving birth to a baby girl, and all ended well at the end of the day. Oh, you're a little baby birdie person. Episode 5 is What If the Emergence Destroyed the World? Here we see Riri Williams and some other survivors like Wong and Shang-Chi's sister and Valkyrie try to defeat Mysterio and his grid of illusions, because after the emergence happened, Mysterio took that opportunity to take control of whatever um, floating islands of Earth were happening that was still in orbit, because even though the Earth shattered, there were still many large land masses that people could live on. But Mysterio took control of it all through his master of illusionary and illusions and stuff like that in tech. But eventually, Riri Williams figured out how to break through all that, see through his illusions, and ultimately take him out, and giving an ultimate sign that heroes were back, which was a large Avengers symbol that shown throughout the world. It kind of reminded me of this going to be, you could lead that to Planet Avengers or something, right? Where you just start a new Avengers and you have Avengers all over the place. I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out of my brain. I don't know. But that's how that particular episode ended. I thought that this particular episode was good as well. It was an interesting scenario to see Riri Williams fight Mysterio. I thought that was a good fight that I didn't think I would want to see, but I think that this episode overall was a decent episode and maybe worth the watch at the end. Even if you don't watch all of this season, I think that particular episode is worth the watch. Episode 6 is What If It Was 1872? And in this particular episode, Kate and Shang-Chi, Kate Bishop meaning, and Shang-Chi are in the Wild West. And the villain known as the Hood has been kidnapping people and taking resources in order to stockpile ammunition, people, workers, and ultimately lead to like a large network being connected, so the Hood and his associates can keep power and riches. But it's up to Kate Bishop and Shang-Chi to save the day. Shang-Chi eventually learns that his sister, who he initially thought was captured by the Hood, became the Hood herself and continued to reign terror because she wanted to show America that this is what happens when you beat down the people that come into this country and that you don't watch out over them. She was very angry about how her and her fellow immigrants were treated in America and how they shouldn't have been taken in the first place, especially without any protection from America. And so she had anger towards America. And eventually Kate Bishop took her out without knowing that was Shang-Chi's sister. But Shang-Chi understood and laid his sister to rest. And that's how that particular episode ended, with him and Kate Bishop still trying to protect the Wild West. Now that we're running into near the end of the series, hold on, I'm coming with you. I'm coming. We see episode 7 and 8, which is the two-parter series finale, and it's What If the Watcher Disappears? The Watcher had been interfering in the last couple of seasons in various storylines, and the people, the other Watchers went after him to basically punish him for his interference, because the oath is basically just to watch and not to interfere in anything, to observe the natural order of the universe, the different realities and stuff like that. And so their ultimate goal was to take him out and eventually Captain Carter. And here we get Storm, who's wielding Mjolnir. We also are getting the superhero, the Native American superhero uh, from last season, and then we get to meet Howard the Duck and Darcy's daughter Birdie the Duck, and she's part of this Exiles team, so to speak, too, where they're going and trying to protect the Watcher and trying to find out what happened to the Watcher. They've eventually find him, and the Watcher in the last episode winds up making them all Watchers, so then they can properly fight off the threat here. You know what I mean? And they do. They do. They ultimately fight off the threat. But Peggy Carter winds up being the one to sacrifice herself at the end of the series so the others can live. And basically, everyone gives their final condolences to Peggy and wonder what the future may hold. But who's to say what really the future holds? The Watcher, of course, lets them know that he too feels as if someone is watching over him, and that very well could be Captain Carter. The Native American character I was thinking about was Kahari. She was part of this team too, Kahari. I was trying to remember her name. I don't want to necessarily disrespect her name. And then that's how the series ends. The Watcher survives. Captain Carter, who has been a character for the last 3 seasons, sacrifices herself. And we have 3 characters, possibly, that can be carried over to the Exiles team. Or we can start all fresh and have it be completely different. But that's my wrap-up of What If Season 3 and basically the end of the show. You let me know down below what you thought of this series, of this season. Did you like it, not like it? Are you glad it's over? Did you want more episodes? I don't know. Let me know down below, guys. But until next time, peace, Snookums.